What's up, everybody? I'm gonna work on a couple. This pair of Gucci's. These are tassel loafers. Just got them in. Picked them up at Goodwill. And no, I'm not telling you where my secret Goodwill is that I find all these deals. Can't tell you. Secret. First thing I'm doing is just getting all the dust. Anything loose that you can get off, just get off with a brush. And this is a kind of a coarse brush. I have some softer ones that we use after we've applied the shoe cream. All right, look pretty good. Now we get our, guess I'd better take my watch off. Got my nice Christopher Ward watch. Just got that one. That was a special run by a group of guys on Instagram called the Sketch Boys Watch Club. So I just use a little bit of water, a little bit of saddle soap, and I'm assuming that these haven't been really cleaned in a long time, so I wanted to do kind of a deep clean. You don't have to do this every time. Matter of fact, you probably shouldn't. I think it dries them out pretty good. But as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to put some shoe cream back on it and really rehydrate it. Because leather is like skin. I mean, it's got to take care of it. I think these are hand burnished, like they use, I don't know. It looks like they've been like specially dyed. Now, I don't know if Gucci did that or if somebody else did that as a like an after thing. Like if somebody customized them. But usually you won't have burnishing like that much. I think they have a cool kind of quote-unquote patina to them. And we'll go back over it with this coarse brush. Kind of get down in those little crevices. I know nobody gives a shit, except the 2 or 3 people who are going to watch this. But it's fun for me, so I don't care. I like to watch the shoes get better. It's super fun to take something that somebody else has used and then more or less discarded. I mean, they donated them to Goodwill. So, you know, when I pay for these, it goes to Goodwill and they use it to do training and all the stuff that they do. But then I get a chance to work with some really cool shoes that I would never buy myself. Just can't afford to spend this much money on shoes. I got kids going to college. Have y'all checked the college prices lately? Woo. Now you can kind of see the difference. These are got a little bit more moisture in them now. So let's get to these. And everything I've learned about the saddle soap is you don't want to let it sit on there for very long. I mean, like, you know, a couple minutes is fine, but, you know, don't walk away and leave them for an hour. You want to wipe it off. It really does do a good job cleaning though. All right, looks like we got all of it. This is my little catch-all brush. I put bottoms on there because I started out doing just around the bottoms, but this brush is just nice because it's small. I can kind of maneuver it, get in these little crevices. It's just the first brush that I go to whenever I clean shoes and get them ready to condition them. All right, now they're kind of cleaned off. Get any of that soapy residue off of there. Okay, look good. Before I turn the video on, I put shoe trees in them, and my guess is that these shoes were not stored with shoe cream or shoe trees in them. These are kind of cool. These are really nice shoe trees that as you push on them, they widen out. So they'll spread the toe out and give it a nice shape. And they're spring loaded. So if you didn't know how they work, there's a spring in the middle. So they push against there and they widen the toe out, give it a nice shape to the end of them. So now that we got them clean and a little saddle soap on there, what we're going to do now is use this Saphir Renovateur, which is, I don't know what that word means, but this stuff smells amazing. It's like almost like a French perfume smell. It's actually made in France. So what I do with this is dunk it with a finger and just spread it nice even coat all over. I'm actually probably putting too much on here, but I don't care. I know the guys on YouTube and stuff say a little goes a long way, but and these are like, I'd say new. These are $1,100, $1,200 shoes. So, you know, what's 50 cents worth of this stuff? And I'm going to say these are custom, because I don't know. I think these are from Gucci's custom shop. This is, if somebody did this as an aftermarket thing, like a modified these, they did an amazing job with the burnishing. To me, it looks like it's factory sprayed, like they use a gun to spray the dye, so they get a real nice even coat. Allen Edmonds does this in some of their higher end models. And like, I guess a lot of, I should say Allen Edmonds, but a lot of the high-end shoe companies will do custom burnishing. Some of them call it like a museum grade, I think. Some of them, I forget what they call it. I love this part of it, because this is when you can really see a big change in the shoes. Like they really start to take on the look they had when they were new. And if you look at these, like, look at the soles. Like, these are in great shape. I assume they had the rubber added, but this looks original. And these are Goodyear welted shoes. So these are really, really nice. And what that means is there's a welt sewed to this leather, and then the sole itself is sewed to the welt. So if you ever want to replace this, you can just cut the sole off, put a new sole on, and this upper leather stays the same. They're really easy to work on and really easy to take care of. So you can re-sole them a bunch of times, and then even then you can put a new welt on and keep going. I like to get this area right here where right around the ball of your feet where the shoe flexes. Get that nice and soft. I think this one's actually going to be a pretty easy job. I don't think I'm going to have to do a lot to these. I'm definitely not going to mess with the soles at all. Look at that. And these are 11.5. Hopefully you can see that. Let me see. Yep. Gucci. The Goodyear means it's not Goodyear tire, but it's Goodyear welted. And it's 11.5. That's a US sizing. So these were made for the US market. Usually you'll see like 45 or 46, which is a European sizing. What's really confusing is like UK is one size bigger than the US shoes. So if you see one that's a 10.5 and it was made for the UK market, it could be an 11.5 US, but it'll say 10.5 on it. So you never know. I buy enough shoes that sometimes it's like, crap, I get one that's like way too big. I'm like, what happened? And that's a UK size. All right, this is one of my old Star brushes. It's like old, but it's a much softer bristle. And what I'm going to do is just go around here, and this one will knock off all the excess cream. That shoe cream tends to build up a little bit on there. We'll take this off, And then I'll use one other brush that's just a little bit stiffer than this one. I could use this one. It just takes a little bit longer. And why not have a bunch of brushes? This is kind of a medium one. So this is the one I'll start to get a little bit of a shine to it. You can already kind of see it's starting to get a little bit of a shine. There, they're looking better. Looking much better. Now we move on to a little bit harder wax. So this is where we will start to see some shine come in. And I won't do this over the whole thing. I'm a Diet Coke. But this is a really fun part of the whole deal. I just use my fingers. Some people use a brush or a cloth or something. I just use my fingers with gloves on there. I feel like I can, my fingers also heated up just a tiny bit as I'm putting it on. I feel like it does a little bit better job, but I'm sure the internet will tell me how I'm supposed to feel. Now this stuff is pretty cool because it dries pretty quick. Sometimes people say walk away from it for a little bit. What I find is if I put it on using my fingers, it heats it just a tiny bit, and then once I do this other shoe and come back to it, this one will be ready to be brushed. And this stuff, once it dries, you use your brush to buff it and kind of almost, I wouldn't say burnish it, but the friction creates heat, which sinks the wax down into the leather. And I'm doing this video uncut because some people have asked me before, like, how long does this take? So I wanted to do one video, start to finish, on a pair of shoes that really doesn't need a whole lot. Because when they do need a lot, it takes a while. And I want to get this done so I can go in and watch the other Final Four game here in a little bit. I hope I didn't miss it. I think, did Arizona play first? Arizona, Auburn first, and then Duke plays second. Kind of wanted to see the Duke game. And I pretty much do this by eye. Like when the leather starts to look cloudy, I kind of know I've got enough on there. If it still has a little bit of a shine to it, I will go back over it. Because I want it to be just a tiny bit cloudy. And this is a split toe. You can see how that's one piece of leather, that's a piece, that's a piece. So it's a split toe. A lot of times there'll be one continuous piece all the way around here, and then the top will be sewn on. That's more of like a moccasin. And a lot of people think moccasins are like, you know, like Native American Indian moccasins, but moccasins just means the leather goes all the way under the foot and back up the other side. That's all it means. Like these, the leather stops at the side, and then there's a insole. So just a different construction technique, not necessarily better or worse, but these have an insole, a midsole, and an outer sole. And it's hard to see, but there is a line right there between the midsole and the outer sole. And if I took this, which is a heel prior, I could sink that in right there and pop that off. So here we go. Let's get this started, getting this thing shined up a little bit. So this is a medium density wax. So it's not a super high polish, but it does give it a little bit more polish to it. By the way, I got my Cardinal shirt on. I hope they don't suck this year. Kind of looking like they're going to suck. Come on, Cardinals. Spend some money. Get a good free agent. Get a 20-game winner, for crying out loud. Does anybody even win 20 games anymore? This is the part that hurts my freaking elbow. I need to get a shoe finishing machine, but all the way up until this point, all the stuff that I bought is like consumer, except for the Soul Stitcher. But even it runs off 110 volts. If I buy a finisher, it's 220. So I have to upgrade my electrical in the garage, which I'm not excited about, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, there we go. Look at that. They look a lot better. So now, the question is, do we leave them like this? Do we add some burnishing to the toes? Do we mirror polish it? Man, I think these are factory, because the shape here and the shape here of the burnishing is the same. It's very hard to do that without like a template or something. I don't know. One other thing we got to do is we're going to clean up these. This is a little 100 grit sandpaper. Yeah, I think it's 100. Yeah, it's 100 grit sandpaper. I'm just going to gently go over the exterior of the sole. And we're not trying to remove any finish. We're just trying to take all the imperfections off, and then we'll put a little sole dye right back on top of it. This is just to make it nice and smooth, take out any imperfections, open up the pores just a tiny bit, and then we'll fill it back in. And this has got a big chunky midsole on here too. That's pretty cool. You know, we're not trying to remove any wood or wood. We're not trying to remove any leather. We're just trying to smooth out some of the, you know, dents and dings that happen when you walk. I mean, these are shoes. They're going to get scuffs and all the stuff. We're just trying to clean them up a little bit and make them look pretty. I really think these are from the custom shop. The more and more I look at them, they got fudging all around here. It's a decorative thing with a decorative punch. It's got like a flower punched in there. I think these are from the Gucci custom shop. I think I lucked out and got a pair of ultra high end, but they're not, I don't know. Usually split toes are not the super high end, but to see all this fancy stuff on here makes me kind of wonder. I don't know. Again, I'm sure the internet will let me know how I'm supposed to think. Yeah, because there's even fudging right here. Look at those, like the decorative indentations in the leather. All right, now we have, that's the black one. This is the brown. This is called heel dressing. But before I do that, I'm gonna wipe off, wipe all this off. Just make sure we're going here. Yeah, we're still going. All right, just plugging it in. Making sure my phone is plugged in. All right, this is kind of cool. This is a brown heel dressing. I'm just trying to be careful not to get it up on the leather, which I inevitably do sometimes. It pretty well wipes off, but still. We're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna hit it again and then wipe it off. I want to let it soak in a little bit. This stuff dries pretty quick. Okay, so now we're going to go back over this one more time. I just dunked my hand in it. Got it on the leather. I knew it. Couldn't do one whole thing without getting it on the leather. Luckily it wipes right off. People pay more for that. It looks antiqued. Not really. Not in these kind of shoes. All right. Now I'm just going to take this and wipe it off. I'll do one more time on here. I'm learning. See, I set it down and picked it up and try to throw it up in the air like a dummy. And I'm using brown on here because these were not black soles, so I did not want to use black on them. All right, cool. So now we just have to let that dry a little bit. Looks pretty good. Yeah, that brown is awesome. Well, what do you guys think? Are we still running? Yes, we are. Pretty good, right? 38 minutes so far. All right. Let me check the battery on my phone. I got it plugged in, but it was going down for some reason. All right, it looks like we're okay. I'm gonna do one last thing just because it'd be fun for the video. A little warm water into this bowl. I really don't think it has to be warm. I've never tried that out before. Yeah, this one. All right, we are going to do, where is my wax? There it is. It's underneath the pumas. All right, so this is a hard wax. This is a gloss. This is the one that you really put the shine on, and I'm only going to do the toes on these shoes. So I just wrap it around my fingers, hold it, load up. It's kind of like loading up a paintbrush. You load up the wax on here. And I only do the front quarter of the shoe. And I'll do just this little bit right here. And this wax is kind of interesting. When I first learned how to do this, I didn't understand what they were talking about with using water to lubricate it. But when you're pushing on it, you can kind of feel it start to get a little sticky. And you just dunk your finger in there, put a couple drops of water, and you can feel it like it lubricates it. Get a little more wax. And just not much. I'm just barely pushing my fingers into the wax. It's kind of, I usually don't hold it like this. Kind of awkward because I'm trying to keep it in front of the video. So for the purposes of this video, I'm only going to do like 3 coats. Sometimes it takes a minute. I'll probably only do this one shoe too. I actually don't like that one. Here's my polishing one. said I was only going to do 3 coats, which is like 5 now, 6. Starting to get there. This the toe box area is going to take some time. Whew. These haven't had wax on them in a while. These sides are doing really well, but the top, whew, you can kind of see like that area right there is just not taking it. These sides are doing really good. You can see they're starting to get the mirror shine to them. Yeah, they look good. Kind of start to see it. This sucker, I don't know what's going on there. They might have dripped something on this thing. I'm putting a good amount of pressure on this to try to really rub this wax in. Yeah, well, you can really, it is starting to take a shine, but there's a spot right there. I think what I'm going to do is leave it overnight and see if it's just the moisture. Yeah, because it's getting bigger the more I put water on it. I think it's just the moisture is getting down in there. Let's see. Yeah, it's just not behaving. It's not behaving the way it's supposed to. We're going to have a talk. You see all these guys on TV doing this in like 10 minutes. And it's like, those are on brand new shoes too. Finish is perfect. This is a pair of Goodwill shoes. Well, all right, I'm going to call it. I think that's water. So you can kind of see the difference in the shines. With the mirror shine, you can just go on and on and on and on. Like you can get them to where it looks like glass. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to see what happens here, because if I have to strip this and re-dye it, I don't want to just continue to do both of them, because I want to make them match. So anyway, I thought I would do that. That's a pretty good shot. Here, let's look at the nice one. They look pretty good. As you can see, they are Gucci, unlined, really, really good leather. They feel fantastic. Anyway, there you go. How long did that take us? It took us 51 minutes. So, and on a pair like this, just for comparison's sake, I like to make $100. So I'd like to try to make $100 on this. I got them in today. Spent literally, as soon as I set them down, I started the camera. So 51 minutes, and I'll put them online on eBay with probably $125 markup, and then see where they come out. Hopefully I can make, I like to make $100. If I make 75 or 60 or something, that'd be fine too. But $100 is my goal on all these shoes. Now, obviously I can't do it when I'm selling a $40 pair of shoes. So on the lower end, I just like to try to double my money after all my costs. And it's just something fun to do. And I enjoy the shoes, and it's actually brought a lot of opportunities for me, and meeting a lot of cool people and getting to talk about cool stuff, because shoes and watches kind of go hand in hand. And that's my Christopher Ward Sketch Boys Watch Club. It's an awesome watch. If you ever get a chance, this is a 40 millimeter, fits perfect on my wrist. So anyway, thanks for watching. 52 minutes. If you stuck to it this long, holler at me. I'll take orders. See ya.